So what does that actually mean for us? But so this world of, dukkha and samsara, it comes from constructed, it's impermanent. We can sort of get our heads around those ideas.
Yeah.
But the opposite, that there's a state, Nibbana, that where there's the unconstructed. What does that actually, what did the Buddha mean when he was talking about that?
What's interesting in that chapter on the unconstructed or unconditioned, he always explains what is the unconditioned. And then he says it's the destruction of greed, the destruction of hatred, the destruction of delusion. And this gives rise to a debate within Theravada Buddhist circles between at least two camps. There is one camp that will say that Nibbana is just the destruction of the defilements and then the resultant ending of the process of existence, of repeated existence. And after that, just nothing. Just everything comes to an end.
Lights out.
Yeah. And then the other camp, and this follows I would call the mainstream Theravada tradition, says that Nibbana itself is an unconditioned reality. It's a dharma, a state, a dimension, a reality, which is not produced through causes and conditions. But the Buddha pinpoints or defines the unconditioned as the destruction of greed, hatred, and delusion, not in a way that's to be taken literally, but in order to show the practical work that has to be done to attain that unconditioned state or dimension, that state of unconditioned liberation.
Wow. What is your thought, your personal thoughts on this?
Yeah, I lean towards the second position, taking Nibbana to be an unconditioned, because I found suttas which explain Nibbana as they use words like dhatu, which is what we translate as an element, dhamma, a real existent, ayatana, a base, amita padang, the deathless state, achyuta padang, the imperishable state. And to me, those kinds of expressions don't make sense if one takes Nibbana just to be the complete annihilation or extinction of everything.
So it's not lights out, the lights are still on. And what's the content of the mind then? Is there no content of the mind, would you say?
Well, actually, in this, there's actually two stages in the attainment of Nibbana. And this comes into what's called the two Nibbana dhatus, which it's not included in that anthology, because it's not within the Samyutta Nikaya, but it's implicit there. So one is called the Sa-upadisesa Nibbana dhatu, which is literally, it's the element of Nibbana with a residue remaining. And the residue is this compound of the five aggregates, which remains after greed, hatred, and delusion have been destroyed. So that is the experience of the living arahat, the one who has reached liberation in this life itself. And then the other aspect of the Nibbana attainment is the anupadisesa Nibbana dhatu, the element of Nibbana in which there is no residue remaining. And that is the Nibbana, we have to speak imprecisely here, as entered with the passing away of the liberated person. And here there's like no concepts or measures that are possible. It's said to be appamana, to be immeasurable or inconceivable.
Appamana, so immeasurable. And is it like animita? And there's no sign, there's no content at this point, but it's not that there's nothing. Is that the point?
Yeah.
So then it's very hard to talk about these states.
Right? Yeah, so maybe that's why the Buddha doesn't talk about them very much. Try to define them in precise, rigorous philosophical terms.
Yes, and we probably need not worry about them just yet, right?
Yeah.